At this stage, after you do all of your cuttings and you separate them by the different calipers, we bring them over to this next table where we're gonna do something a little different. So we no longer need our pruning shears. What we need now is some type of X-Acto knife or a knife that is very sharp. So just like the pruning shears here, you need training to make sure that your employees or whoever is using the knife is trained in the safety of using the X-Acto knife, because we will be cutting all of our cuttings, but in a slightly different way. So you are going to get those cuttings that you made in the previous step, and you're going to be removing a small piece of that, just a corner of it. So you do this, and that's the way it is. Okay, this will allow the hormone to have more contact, so there's more surface contact with the cutting. So this is usually used for things that are harder to root, because now when you dip into a liquid hormone or into a powder rooting hormone, there's a lot more surface for that hormone to work and a lot more space for that callus to form in the plant and grow roots from there. So you keep doing that, and the cut will vary. Sometimes it's going to be smaller because depend on the way your hand works, but as you do this for a little bit, you'll get used to. Even more, one of the things that you have to be even more careful is because now you're dealing with a knife and it's not too far from your hand. So make sure that you're always watching what you're doing, and make sure that you are not distracted by anything when you're doing this, because you are dealing with a sharp object and the cutting is in your hand. Okay, so very, very careful with this. Make sure that there's no distraction. Make sure that you are paying attention and making that side cut, so to improve the callus formation and the root formation when you plant those cuttings. That's pretty much it. Thank you. What we're doing is we collect the mother trees, we sorted them, separate them, made the cuts at the 9-inch, made the lateral cut to improve callus and root growth. Now we're going to protect the top of that cut from water going in and preventing other diseases and some other things. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use some type of tar. And if you do want, at this stage, you could technically mix fungicide in here, but if you do that, you have to follow the fungicide label, the fungicide re-entry, and you have to use your protective equipment as per label of that fungicide. So follow all of those instructions. But if I'm just using the tar, as it is the case here, it's important you wear some gloves, some sleeves like this to protect your own clothes, a coverall, and as always, your safety glasses. Once again, if you do mix fungicide here, which is a good idea, make sure that the person doing it have the pesticide training, is wearing all the PPE recommended on the pesticide label, and you follow the re-entry, and you're not doing this next to other people. But for this, we have two things here. One is we have a rooting hormone. This is the liquid part of the rooting hormone inside of this blue bucket. And then we have the tree seal or the tar in this piece over here. So what I'm going to do is this is the part that we just cut as a lateral cut. That stays to the bottom. And we're gonna dip that part into the rooting hormone, the liquid rooting hormone. This specific one is 3,000 parts per million, but you can look up whatever variety, whatever product you are making cuttings of, and the difference is going to be based on what's recommended. For this specific product, we're using 3,000 parts per million, just a quick dip. There are times that we are doing a soak, so we do 100 parts per million and we soak for, let's say, 12 or 16 hours, depending on the case. So there's all different ways to do it. Different people are going to see different results. Different commodities will have different responses to the way we do it. But for this specific one, dip at a 3,000 parts per million, dip and grow, or a liquid hormone, and then we flip the cutting upside down and we touch the tar over here. So as this dries out, it seals the plant So if there's water or moisture, that water is not going to go in the plant, and is going to protect that top part of that cutting from rotting or from getting any type of diseases. So this is not the last step yet, but it is the last step at this stage. So the next stage is going to be the planting, and I'll show you that next.